I don't know why this is so difficult. I mean, I've gone live on other platforms and this one just seems to be very difficult. Okay, so this is my first live here on YouTube. I've had a couple try to go ahead with lives and it just kept screwing up on me. Uh, I'm not on my regular phone. I am on an Android. This is actually my regular phone. See, that's my regular phone. I just figured in case anybody needed to get a hold of me, I don't want to have my phone being used. Well, anyways, ignore my face. I've been dealing with a lot of stress and a lot's been going on. I'm not posting as much as I would like to here on YouTube, and just a lot's been going on. And it's been mentally draining. So, what do I want to make today's video about? And I age restricted it so I can actually vape. See if I get knocked off or violated like I usually do when I was on TikTok. Just a vape. I don't normally vape. I quit back in February of 2023, but I had a situation that caused me to start vaping again. I will be talking to my doctor on Tuesday to get me prescribed nicotine gum so I can quit. Because this doesn't help with anxiety or panic disorders. It just makes it worse. So what do I want to talk about? I know the description says get to know me. Well, let's get to know me. I live in New York State, not New York City. I am about 357 miles away from New York City, but it's a give or take depending on where you go in New York City. But where I live in New York City, it's a little less than 400 miles away. I have never been to New York City, okay? I've never seen the Statue of Liberty. I came close. I came very close. We all remember September 11th. I remember it very well. See, I'm a writer. And this was way before I ended up getting published. I was going to go to New York City to meet up with a publishing company and talk to some agents and everything with my manuscript that I had. And this was in 2001. And I was so glad that I was able to go. I was saved up enough to go to New York City. I was actually going to drive a car because I do not like public transportation whatsoever. And public transportation here in New York sucks. That's all I gotta say. It sucks. Anyways, I grabbed my bank book, grabbed everything I needed to go to my bank because I wanted to switch everything over to like traveler checks kind of thing, take out some money and whatnot that I would need for my trip. I didn't have a debit card or anything, so I didn't like debit cards back then because they always seem to get you in trouble, okay? Because you always overdraw your account. Believe me, everybody does it. Can't help it. Anyways, I was driving down the road. I was still living with my parents at the time, okay? I was 20 at the time. I was still living at home. And hopefully getting a book published, or at least getting it out there would get me out of my parents' home. So I was heading down the road, went over the railroad tracks because I lived out in the country. What happens? This is September 10th of 2001, okay? The day before September 11th happened. I got over the railroad tracks, and as I was driving along, the flames bursted out underneath my hood. Scared the shit out of me. I swerved my car right into a ditch. Okay, and it wasn't like a deep ditch. It was like just a little swoop, so I would be able to get my car out. But I took my car off the fucking road, and I jumped out of my car. I ran to the other side of the road and just stood there while there was flames coming out of my hood because I was not going to be anywhere near that car because if it had already burst into flames. What's to say it doesn't catch fire and I'm in that car? So I ended up going to the other side of the road, and as I was standing there watching my car, the flames started to go down. So I waited and waited and waited, and I approached my car slowly because I didn't know if anything was going to ignite, and everything seemed to be fine. But luckily, I wasn't too far from home, and unfortunately, I did not have a cell phone. It wasn't a big thing to have a cell phone on me. So I walked down the road, and I got my dad. He looked around for his tow hitch, couldn't find it. So we're like, okay, we got to get my car out of this ditch, okay? Because it's not running. That engine is gone in that car. So my dad drove me back down the road, back to my car. He slowly approached my car, okay? Everything was good. He had me get back in the car because I have to maneuver the car. And what he did is he kind of bumpered me all the way home. He was behind me, and what he would do is hit the back end of my car and kind of push me, okay? And it was very difficult getting my car out of the ditch, trying to push it out of the ditch. But we got out of the ditch, got it through somebody's horseshoe driveway, got it pointing in the direction of my parents' house. Well, I had already requested at my job like a week off from work so I could do everything that I needed to do in New York City. And because I couldn't get out to New York City and money had to be used for my car because I seized up the engine seized up when it caught fire. I ended up calling my job. I was a preschool teacher at the time, and they were able to get me back in my classroom to teach. Well, I went to work September 11th. I was in my classroom, and the supervisor came into the classroom and said, we need all teachers to come to my office. Assistant teachers and student teachers stay with the children. So we all went. When we went in there, she had the TV on the little metal push thing we all had in high school, the older ones. Well, we had in school. When we went into her office, that's when the second plane hit the towers. Everybody turned to me because they knew that I was supposed to be in New York City on that day. And the thing is I wanted to see the Twin Towers when I got to New York City. That was the one thing I wanted to see. So I'm alive today because my engine caught fire and seized up in my car. Now that's not the only time I have cheated death. I have cheated death way too many times. But let's start talking about my life now, not my life 20 plus years ago, my life now. But I need to walk away for like 2 seconds because my cat is trying to get into the cat food. So he's probably telling me he wants me to get some kitty food put in the dish. And I hope I don't bounce my little tripod because it's on my bed. I didn't feel like putting it on the table because I'm watching King of the Hill. I mean, I could watch it on my laptop, but I felt like just putting it here for now because I just want to feel a little more comfortable. So I gotta go slow so I don't knock this tripod over. You can enjoy the scenery behind me. Like my pillow, I actually got it at Michael's for like, I think like $6, regular like 20 something. It was on sale because it was after Halloween. you. I'll show you. Give you a close up of the pillow. So that's the pillow. I'll turn it like this so you can see it. There's the pillow. Did a whole bunch of pillows, but that's the one I wanted. All right, so I'm gonna slowly get on this so I don't knock this tripod over, because if it falls, you're just gonna see my bed. My fat butt didn't knock it over. All right, let me get comfortable, and I'm gonna move this. Move this closer. I gotta check my phone first. Huh, my knob got to work yet. Let's check to see if my husband got to work. He left a little late because somebody parked right in front of his damn car. All right, so about me. I just turned 44 years old just a couple weeks ago. I live in New York State, not New York City. I live in the ghetto. I got police going by all night, sometimes during the day. I live across from a Family Dollar that's robbed like every other week or every other day. I live in a room, but it's a studio. It's a semi-studio. And the reason we live in a room is because when we were looking for an apartment, they all have waiting lists. And I want to get back to the country because I don't belong in the city. I'm a country girl. I don't belong in the city. Is my chat open? Can somebody like do a chat so I can see if my chat is open? I don't know how it works here on YouTube. I'm originally from TikTok. I'm from TikTok, so I don't know. I love TikTok because of all the bullshit, the drama, the snowflakes, and the bullying. I had to get away from there because I've dealt with it for too long. Dealt with it since 2021. And it was time for me to walk away. I do better here on TikTok than I did on... I do better here on YouTube than I do on TikTok. And I actually like YouTube because I can actually age restrict my live, and I'm able to do adult things because I'm not promoting it to children. Okay? Okay, so I live in the city. I'm a country girl. Do not like living in the city. I struggle with really bad agoraphobia. If you don't know what agoraphobia is, I did make a video about it. And what that is it's when you're afraid to leave your safe zone, or you're afraid to go to places that you don't feel safe in, like places that caused you trauma in your past. My safe zone, unfortunately, is this studio apartment, but I don't feel safe in it because there's some whack jobs. That way, you got some backstabbers, you got some hypocrites that way. And I hope she's watching. Anyways, we'll get into the whole hypocrites and backstabber thing a little bit later, okay? So, agoraphobia is when you can't leave your safe zone, or a place you can't go into places where you don't feel safe. My safe zone is my home. Nobody left, but okay. My safe zone is my home, but like I said, I don't really feel safe here, but when I'm inside here, I do feel safe. What happens is when somebody that struggles with agoraphobia leaves their safe zone, like me if I was to go outside, and yes, you have seen videos of me being outside. A lot of those old TikTok videos that I uploaded, which I already apologized for the audio lagging, and like 2/3 of them, which really pissed me off because I have so many TikTok videos. That was because I was mainly in the country. I'm perfectly fine when I'm in the country. Bring me out to the city, I don't feel safe. Well, anyways, what happens is the person starts to panic. They're start getting heart palpitations, the heart starts racing, and you just start shake because it's like you're afraid something's going to happen to you when you leave your safe zone. And that's me. I am working in therapy to try to get through that. I have group therapy and they're trying to get me into a different group therapy, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to get into it, which really pisses me off because that's really the one that I really want to be in because it was the cognitive behavioral therapy that I really need to be in. The one I'm in right now is like an anxiety and panic therapy group, and I'm like schooling people in there because I practically wrote the book. I mean, I actually did write a book. I wrote a book. Uh, Somebody knocking. I didn't answer that door if somebody's knocking. I actually did write a book. It was before I got my CPTSD diagnosis. So I wrote a book, The Daily Struggles with Generalized Anxiety Disorder. So I was already talking about anxiety, panic, coping skills, all that. So I practically wrote the book. So I'm like schooling people that are in the same therapy session with me, and I'm schooling the instructor. Anyways, so that's what agoraphobia is, and that's why I don't go outside that much because I have to have somebody with me when I go outside, which really sucks because I love going outside. I love going for walks, and being out in the city, I don't feel safe doing that. That's why my husband bought me a stun gun. That I will not show here on my live because I don't think I'm allowed to. Now, more about me. Let's start with my mental health. My mental health went downhill in 2009 when my first husband. Well, it went downhill a little bit before that. It was before that because when I got with my first husband, he was very abusive. Not physically, it was more like emotionally, psychologically. He would gaslight me, manipulate me. Um, I'm pagan, and I'm surprised my cat didn't run over here because that's my cat's name. All right, so I'm pagan. I am a nature worshiper because I am a country kid, and he's Christian. He was Christian. He is Christian, so he kept telling me I was going to go to hell if I didn't turn to God. And I'm thinking that's not my way of life. But he brainwashed me so much, and he got me to believe him that I was literally going to go to hell if I didn't turn away from my choice of life, you know, being pagan and worshiping nature and all that. So he ended up forcing me to wear dresses down to my ankles or skirts down to my ankles. I could not show a lot of skin. I could not wear tank tops. Could not wear makeup. I had long hair at the time, and I had to actually wrap my hair up in a bun. And I had to cook and clean. I had to take care of my daughter. Really no help from him. It wasn't his child, so I didn't expect him to help because there's only a few men out there that actually will take care of their stepchildren as if they're their own. And he used to force me to wash the floor, clean the floors, the kitchen and the bathroom floor on my hands and knees with a bucket with a cleaner in it and a scrub brush. At night, he did not let me use electricity. I had to use oil lamps. When I cooked, everything had to be from scratch. I could not use anything from a box. The only thing that could probably come from a box was, pasta. That was about it. If I wanted mashed potatoes, I better peel those potatoes and mash them myself. When it came to baking, I couldn't go to the store and buy cake mix. I literally had to pull out the flour, the sugar, the vanilla, the eggs, and all that, and make it from scratch. Everything had to be from scratch. Bread had to be from scratch. Had to make it, let it rise, bring it out, knead it, roll it into a little ball or a loaf. And I went through that because he brainwashed me so much into believing that that's how I should be. This little housewife that is submissive to my husband. Another thing is that my first husband, he did cause me a lot of religious trauma. Okay, it took me a long time before I could actually pick up a Bible again. Because I'm pagan and he said I was going to go to hell, he forced me to go to church. I had to go to church every Sunday. I had to go to church every Wednesday for Bible study. When we were at home, I had to read the Bible. He would give me chapters. He would give me a book and then a chapter, the chapters I had to read, and then he would test me on what I read. He would literally give me a piece of paper with a bunch of questions on it and have me answer these questions. I had to do devotionals every morning. I had to do devotionals every night. And the sad thing is if I got questions wrong, I would be forced to go back and read it. And if the second time he came around and I got a question wrong again, I had to start reading that Bible practically front to back, while doing all the Bible studies that he wanted me to do, the devotionals he wanted to do. I had to read the Bible front to back. So that right there is my religious trauma, being forced to do something that I didn't want to do and being told I was going to go to hell. Now, my husband did not let me use my laptop, and that right there, that really killed me as somebody that wanted to become a writer. Because obviously I didn't do the thing in New York City. I kind of stepped away from writing and just kind of did it for fun. But he took my laptop away from me. I wasn't allowed to use my laptop, and that meant that I wasn't allowed to associate with friends. So I didn't have any friends. I didn't have anybody to talk to except for my daughter at the time. I ended up getting pregnant with my second child. Well, second live child. I had 2 terrible miscarriages before her. And even while I was pregnant, I was scrubbing floors on my hands and knees. After I had my daughter, I was supposed to get my tubes tied. The second live birth. I was supposed to get my tubes tied. But because there was complications during delivery, they told me that I had to wait to be able to get my tubes tied. It got closer to the time I was supposed to get my physical done to see if I was ready, if my body was prepared to be able to get my tubes tied. And it wasn't my choice to get my tubes tied because I was still young. I was 27. When I say 27, no, I was not 27. I was 26. I was 26, and he wanted me to get my tubes tied because he didn't want any more children. Unfortunately, my period had been late, and I thought maybe it was just stress. So I walked to the store, and I bought a pregnancy test, and I walked across the street to a Tim Hortons, and I took the pregnancy test while I was in the bathroom at Tim Hortons, and I waited for my results, and lo and behold, it came back positive. Talk about being scared about going home. Talk about being terrified about going home. I did not want to go home, but I did go home. I waited a little while before I told him, and he was not too happy with me. When it came time to deliver my son, I finally got a boy. It took 4 girls to get my boy, and that's only 2 girls that are alive. To get my boy, it was complications. And my son was transverse position when they were trying to have me push, which means he was diagonal like this. So they had to open me up wider to maneuver him so he was positioned right. Why they did that is beyond me, because I learned after going home, I learned that that should have been automatic emergency C-section. So what happens again? Because of the damage that was done giving birth to my son, I had to wait for my tubes to get tied. So my husband stayed away from me. I was kind of glad he stayed away from me because he was already pissing me off. Got my tubes tied. My son was born in July. I got my tubes tied in October. And that was the biggest mistake that has ever been done to me. I do not suggest anybody gets their tubes tied because it's been nothing but problems since I got it done. I've gone through too many surgeries since then. Well, anyways, my husband started to get a little distant with me. Didn't sleep in the same bed with me. Didn't want to associate with me. He kind of like stayed away from me. And I'm thinking, oh, what did I do? Well, since my husband was allowed to use his laptop and I wasn't, one day he told me to go down into the little like den downstairs, a little like man cave, to turn off his laptop for him. Because I was like his little maid bitch, as you will put it. I went down there and his Yahoo Messenger was wide open. So I went to turn it off, but then a message popped up. And I'm like, okay, should I be careful with doing this? Because I don't want it to like disappear. And it happened to be from another woman. So me being a little nosy, I started to read previous messages between him and the other woman. And I found out that he was telling her, how much he loved her, how much he wanted to leave me and the children just to be with her. And I lost it right there. I lost it. I kept my composure, turned off his laptop, went and got in my car, my van, a piece of shit van at the time, and we drove to Walmart because we were doing some grocery shopping. In the middle of Walmart, I announced what I saw on that laptop. I dissolved our marriage right there. When we got home, we both talked, and we were talking about getting some marriage counseling through our pastor at the church. My husband was all for it. But when it came time for those little sessions, he backed out. So you know what I did? I went on my laptop, because I got my laptop back. I found where he had it. He wasn't paying attention. I got on my laptop. I bought him a Greyhound ticket. Then I went into my old clothes, put on my jeans, put on my t-shirt, put on my sneakers, went in the bathroom, took my hair out of the bun. There's the ponytail right there. Long hair. Right in front of him. I grabbed the ponytail, held it up, and chopped off my ponytail. Handed the ponytail to him and said, "You want to control my hair? Here it is." So that kind of explains why I always have short hair. That situation. So I dropped him off at the Greyhound station and said, "Adios." Now I haven't seen him since. He refuses to acknowledge his children, which I really don't give a shit. So he's the reason I have mental health problems, because I ended up having a nervous breakdown shortly afterwards, because here I am, single mother with 3 kids. I lost my job because I ended up in the hospital one time, and they pulled me out for a couple days. I ended up getting terminated, but it was an unlawful termination, so they had to pay my unemployment. So he's the reason my mental health is shit. Now, I don't want to bore you with all my shitty relationships after that because there's been a lot of shitty relationships, another shitty ass husband. Let's talk about the now. Let's talk about the now. I have been in recovery from pharmaceutical damage since September 28th, 2021. I took myself off of Xanax, cold turkey, didn't understand tapering. I didn't know I wasn't supposed to. I went to my doctor to explain the symptoms I was having, and she told me that what I was dealing with was just my regular anxiety and my panic. I started to find groups on Facebook that talked about um, beating benzos and coming off them, and I found out that it was dangerous for me to go cold turkey off of benzodiazepine because it can cause seizures, it can cause heart attacks, it can cause you to go into a coma, and it can cause, worst of all, it can cause death. Well, you see me sitting here, don't you? You see me? I continued to go cold turkey because I was so far into the cold turkey that I couldn't turn around and restart and taper it because I would have made myself worse. So I survived with going through massive withdrawals, going through a lot of symptoms, sick. I mean, there was a point in my life I couldn't even walk. I was crawling throughout my apartment. I wasn't eating. I lost a lot of weight because I got so sick. And I don't want to bore you with all the different withdrawal symptoms and everything that I've been going through. I mean, it has gotten better. It has gotten better. I just had some recent trauma that kind of made it go worse. So that's why my mental health is kind of shit now. So what to get to know about me? Well, I already told you that I love to write, and I am a writer. And I need to tell you that in January 2012, I did publish my very first book. I have 25 books published. You can actually look that up to see if I'm lying. The name is Abby, Abby. Last name is Fitch, rhymes with bitch. I had to put up with that in school. So Fitch. If you're curious, just put my name in and put books after it. You'll see I am not lying to you. I love photography. I love photography. My biggest obsession when I lived in the country was taking pictures of the moon. Okay? One of these days, I'm going to share a video that I'm going to make of all the pictures I took of the moon. So you can see the pictures I took of the moon. You can see the craters and everything in these photos. But I love photography, so I love taking pictures. When I was younger, I loved filmography. My parents bought me a camcorder, and that kind of started my filmography right there. Painting. I love to paint. I took up studio art in school, so I love to paint. But I have essential tremors, which is I have tremors in my hands. I have tremors in my head. Every once in a while, you'll hear it in my voice. So painting is kind of hard for me, but I still push myself to do it. I don't have any pictures of any of my paintings, and all my paintings are in storage because 90% of my life is in the storage unit because you live in a studio, you can only have so much stuff. I'm a big movie buff. Okay, I love 80s movies, but that's mainly because I'm an 80s kid. My favorite thing to watch at night is Adult Swim. I watch that, and then I switch over to Comedy Central. I don't guess I'm just I'm just a big kid. What else? I struggle with social anxiety, and me doing this is kind of helping me with my social anxiety. But you'll catch me every so often, like looking away, even though I'm staring at my own face. I'll still like look away. Could have autism. I don't know. I got 2 kids with autism. Anyways, so those are the things I like to do. Places I've worked. My first job was preschool teacher. I worked at 2 different locations for that. My, I've been a preschool teacher. I've been a dietary aide. I did join the U.S. Army, so I am an honorably discharged Army soldier. I worked in retail a lot, worked in housekeeping a lot, and I worked in customer service a lot. If you asked me the question, which job was my favorite, it would have to be housekeeping. I love to clean. I love to clean. My husband yells at me because I am constantly cleaning our studio. I just don't like I don't like disorganization. Like I need to organize again. Okay, it seems like every other day I need to reorganize other than clean. That would probably be my favorite job. And why is that my favorite job? Is because I can do things solo. I don't have to work with somebody. I just get my orders when I come in, and then I grab my cart, fill it up with all the stuff I need, and then I go and do my job. So that's probably my favorite to do. What I do want to do once I'm able to work again, because I'm working with a care manager, therapist. What I do want to do, I want to work in a bookstore, and I'm thinking I want to work at Barnes and Noble because some of my books are sold online through Barnes and Noble. So that's what I would like to do. If I have to go back into housekeeping, I'll go back into housekeeping. And I don't know how to turn. Do we not? No, that's a green screen. Hold on. I don't know what I'm doing. Dismiss. All right. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. I don't know. Okay. Done. Why is it still a green screen behind me? Turn off. Oh, you see. Oh, allow all. Okay. This is my first time going live with YouTube, so I gotta get used to all these little gadgets on the side. So I'm so used to TikTok where I can see the chat. Is the reason why I'm not seeing the chat? Like, is there something I'm supposed to click on? Highlight saved to your channel as unlisted video. I don't know. So obviously you guys can't communicate with me. Oh yeah, you can. Oh, I am so sorry to everybody that has been messaging me because it doesn't seem like the. Okay, my apology because I can't see the chat. So this is stupid. I can't see the chat. Well, that's dumb. Don't mind me, okay? I'm. All right, bear with me, because like I said, this is my first time going live with YouTube, and I'm having a problem with the chat. I can't see that you guys are sending me messages. I'm not seeing it. Subscribe. Okay, so I'm gonna have to. All right, so I'm gonna have to watch it from here. I don't know why it's not scrolling. I don't know. This is my first time ever going live on here, so I'm gonna have to keep an eye on it here. Okay, so I can't figure out why I can't see the chat. I apologize to everybody that sent me a message. I seriously apologize because I was not seeing the chat. I gotta look into that. So, getting to know me. And like I said, my it's a weird bird over there. My hobbies are writing, which is actually a career, painting, photography. I'm a content creator. Um, I was paid on TikTok, but I walked away from that because I wasn't going to deal with the BS there. I do other content creating online. I have a podcast. And obviously my vlog. Okay, so I don't know why I can't see the chat unless I actually scroll it, so I'm just gonna have my other cell phone going. So about me, I am married. I got married the first day of summer in 2022. I get put down a lot. I get a lot of people calling me a pedo, calling me a groomer because of my husband being younger than me. But I'm sorry, he's an adult. He was an adult when I met him. It's not like I was with a minor, because there is 17 years between my husband and I. Okay, and you're probably saying, well, what can you have in common with somebody that much younger than you? Believe me, we have a lot of shit in common. Believe me, we have a lot in common. And I don't act my age. I seriously do not act like a 44-year-old. When we first met, he thought I was in my 20s. I was actually in my 30s. And when I told him my real age, it did not bother him. So we ended up talking, and I had just gotten out of an abusive relationship with an alcoholic. So I really wasn't into starting a relationship, but then we did start a relationship and then did get married. Come June 21st will be our 3-year anniversary. Yeah, our 3-year wedding anniversary, and November 10th will be our 5-year anniversary of when we started dating. So we've been together for almost 5 years. We have our ups and downs, and we get through them. People stop talking to each other, and we get through it. I mean, I'm used to getting the silent treatment for no reason, and eventually he gets over it, and then we both just come back together. But thing is we may get upset with each other or mad at each other, but we still come home. We still go to bed in the same bed. You don't go to bed angry. We go to bed in the same bed. We may have our backs to each other because we don't want to look at each other, but we still go to bed in the same bed because that is married couples do. They go to bed in the same bed. So I need to really figure out the live and everything because, see, I told you that tripod was going to go. Anyways, I'm going to set that up. So this is like a test run for doing a live. So
Okay, Boo Power, bring me home. Repeat, bring me home.
got a little distracted for a minute there. Should not be watching TV. Anyways, I don't know what else to say. I mean, I've been talking for like 45 and a half minutes. Uh, just letting you get to know me. I started doing TikTok in October 2021, and I ended up leaving it because I was done with all the bullshit. All the people harassing me, the bullies, the snowflakes, those annoying troll accounts coming into my DMs. It was beyond annoying. And I lost my live. Okay. There we go. Anyways, this is kind of like a test run on how to do a YouTube live. Never done one before, and I got to figure out how to be able to I can see the chat without having to scroll, because if it's not moving, then how do I know when messages are coming through? So I have to figure that out. But like I said, this is a test run to see if, how I do. See people come in, I see people come out, and we'll see at the end how it worked out. But this is me. I'm a tomboy, so you'll constantly see me t-shirt, pants, a hat. But my hair is really short right now because I shaved my head back in February. I shaved my head. It's growing back out, but it's at that length where it's out of control. So I wear my paperboy hat. And when my mental health isn't shit, I end up doing my makeup. So that's that. For everybody that did step into my live, thank you. I'm going to do some more research on how to do a live and how to understand the live and figure out the chat thing, and that way I can see the chat so I'm not ignoring people. So thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and next time when I come back, hopefully I'll have everything figured out and I won't seem like I'm stumbling on anything, and I'll be at the table, not the bed. Okay? So bye for now, guys, and I will see you all later.